This is my buddy Jason Laudwig.
Nice to meet you.
We met 15, 16 years ago, I guess, dispatching trucks in the oil field. And so trying to get him into this. He's got his Nissan sitting right behind us. And so what kind of, other than me, of course, what kind of conned you into doing this thing? What do you like about it and all that?
Well, I've got a 2013 Nissan, or a 2012 Nissan, so, you know, it's 13 years old. And after you bought your Jeep, Russell, and, you know, started getting into it, you know, instead of buying a new platform, I just went ahead and used what I already had. And being that we're truckers, don't have very many miles on it, so, you know, it's not torn up or anything yet. And so,
Give me time.
Yeah, exactly. Time and money, you know.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's you know, I mean, I've always liked the outdoors. You know, I camped as a kid and Boy Scouts and everything else. So, you know, the whole COVID crap and, you know, getting away and, you know, doing the you know, camping and everything, I mean, just kind of fell in place. I didn't know really, you know, a whole lot about the, you know, other than ground tent camping like I did when I was a kid, you know, 40-some years ago, you know, then
The stuff that we stopped doing 30 years ago.
Yeah, you know, so I didn't know about rooftop tents and all the, you know. Yeah, I knew about lifted trucks and stuff, but didn't really know about the, like, MVUM maps, you know, and things and stuff, you know, on, you know, telling you where you can go on, you know,
Tread
national,
lightly
all that kind of stuff. So, and then once you know, you got me sucked in, and I started meeting people, and, you know, I mean, I'm a people person, and, you know, well, somewhat of a people person, and, you know, but when I'm around like-minded people, then, you know, I'm a people person, you know, but, no, so, you know, just, you know, the people we've met, you know, getting into it, and, you know, going to Rito, you know, Richard, you know, your buddy and stuff, you know, got us, you know, he was already into it and knew a lot of people, and then, you know, us getting to know others and being invited, you know, on more like rides and stuff.
Like
and,
this. Chris and Amy who brought this on. Yeah, we had no idea. We met him through Rito, through Richard and Stephanie.
So, you know, I mean, other than...
But also, I think that, you know, I mean, we have done things together ever since we met, you know.
Right,
But there have been times where we were, I don't want to say further apart, because we've always been friends, but we didn't see each other as much or didn't do as much. We were we had kind of not really separated, because like I said, we've always been friends, but it seems like now we spend a lot more time now. Of course, it helps if you come to work where I'm at.
Well, yeah.
But and you're home more than what you used to be. But you know, I think it kind of sparked up, but, you know, improved our friendship. Now we're doing more together too.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we, like you said, you know, we've known each other 16 or 17 years or whatever, but, you know, got together in the oil field, and then, you know, you left before I did, you know, and went on and did, you know, different avenues, but we still stayed in contact, and then, you know, more phone than seeing each other, and then, you know, after the oil field thing, we were, you know, went to work at Oakley together, and then
you left and went off and traveled the world for 9 years. So he was never home then, so I didn't get to see him very much.
So, you know, but I mean, we still stayed in contact. Just, you know, and we'd do different things every once in a while, but so, you know.
But nothing like now. It seems like now we're always somewhere on a trail or camping or something now, so to the detriment of our wives sometimes.
Exactly,
They probably aren't as happy with us, but
if they wanted to be here, they could be here.
That's true. That's true. That is true. No, so what's the name of that truck? I can't know.
Wasu, yeah.
So explain that to me, because I have no idea what it is.
So, you know, being where you drive over the road and stuff, and I had a buddy of mine that ended up doing open deck and stuff, and, you know, I might get into like Atlanta traffic, you know, or get a little, you know, blood pressure up or whatever, and he'd be like, Wasu driver, Wasu, you know, just, you know, relax, calm down, you know, kind of like the Smokey and the Bandit, you know,
Jackie Gleason,
you know,
beeper,
you know, exactly,
crazy.
So, you know, he just used to tell me that, so,
And Jason can get a little excited sometimes.
What I find out here is, though, I like to be in the moment. I'm not, nothing against the YouTubers, and Jim's got a good idea and what he's wanting to do, but that's not me, at least not right now and everything. But I'm still a couple of years behind Jim, getting into this and everything, or a year and a half at least. But I like to be in the moment, and being out here relaxes me. It calms me.
Nobody's yelling at you. Nobody's screaming.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's in a hurry.
I'm doing my own thing, and
we have
doing what I
literally
want.
people packing up camp all the way around us and pulling out. It's like, you do. Have a good time.
Yeah.
See you in January.
We go where we, kind of where we want, within the rules of the laws and National Forest Services and things like that. But I mean, going places that, I'm not going to say that maybe we've been to places that nobody else has, because we know, other people, in the overlanding community, whatever, off-roading community, goes, but not the normal person.
Yeah.
So,
very cool.
That's Wasu. It relaxes me. So this is my Zen time, my yin and yang.
Your happy place.
Yeah, I can go back to work Monday and not kill somebody. So
I got you. Well, this is going to be a really short thing that we're going to do. Probably, I don't know whether it's going to be parts of it in a video, or whether it may just be like a short or something like that, or between, a filler between, because I can't always do this every week. We don't get out every weekend. We have lives and everything else too, and responsibilities. So this might be just a straight no edit deal that we just sit down and do this. Maybe, this is going on a little over 7 minutes or whatever. It'll be short enough to where it might be interesting, but I may just do this in between videos. And this is the first one. I think we're going to call this Coffee and Conversations. I think that would be kind of cool.
Let me spin the situation here. We need a little more content. So what got you into it? And I know you probably explained and told about Russell and all that.
I haven't really. What got me into it is my wife works with a lady who runs with this group that we're with. A lady owned Toyotas, and she has a 4Runner that she's built out. And my wife, Kathy, she was kind of seen the process of that 4Runner being built over a year or whatever it was, and thought it was cool. And then how Russell came about, we were kind of interested. I've had 4-wheel drive, never not had it. I think high school was the last time I didn't have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, but never really built. I've lifted them, put them on bigger tires, stuff like Jason, but never really. And I've rode some trails, logging roads and things like that 30 years ago. But as far as this goes, we started seeing that, and so we got to thinking. We were hanging out a little bit with Richard and Stephanie, and just doing different things. And it was like they were building this rig, and they were kind of into this community a little bit. And so we were actually on our way to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, to meet my brother and sister, and my brother and sister-in-law and sister and her husband for a week in Gatlinburg. And I had got online just to see what used Jeeps were going for. And we were driving over there, and I got a text from a guy. Well, and it's a guy that worked with us in the oil field. What's his name over there that works up there at the Heber?
Oh,
at Jeep. Chance Chase.
No,
it's not that. But anyway,
anyway,
another guy sent me back, and he says, "Hey man, what can I help you with your new Jeep?" And I sent back, I said, "I ain't buying a new Jeep." I said, "I'm looking for a used Jeep." Told him kind of what I was looking for, the price range. He said, "Okay, I'll keep my eye out." I don't know, I guess the next day he sends me pictures of Russell. They had just taken it in on trade-in. It was kind of the year. It was new enough to have the engine I wanted. It was the price was in the ballpark of where I was looking for. They didn't even have it detailed or anything. And I'm like, man, I'm on my way to Tennessee. I won't be back until next Saturday. And they're like, "No, don't worry about it. We'll get it to the detail shop." And I said, "Well, if you still have it, I'll come up Saturday." So we went up that. We got home that following Saturday, and we drove up there Friday night. We drove home Sunday. We drove up there Saturday morning. David and Bridget were with us, and we ended up driving it home. And so that next following weekend, we had it out on the trails in the Washita's with Richard and Stephanie, and really enjoyed that. And you know, we just stay in motels and stuff like that with them. And then we started camping a little bit with them, and then Kathy decided she didn't like the ground camp thing very much. And then I just fell off the deep end, and I went crazy. I think
Literally.
I bought this in June or July. I think I bought it in July, and in October when we went to Rito, it was lifted. It was on 35s, and that was about it. And then it's gotten worse since then. But that's how I got into it. It's the community, it's the people. I think for me, it's the people that we've met. We've met some really cool people from all over the country. I've met some cool guys from Kansas last weekend, camped with Chris and Amy over there around Car Wash Falls. We just pulled up, and they were out there. They were plinking their little suppressed 22, and they're out there, and they were in the campsite we wanted to be to go to the hanging tree. And so I asked that guy, I said, man, do you mind if we share this camp with you? We're going down here to the hangar. We're going to walk down there tonight. He's like, oh yeah, cool. And we hung out around the fire and, had a few drinks and met. And by the time it was all said and done, by the time they left the next morning, we were talking about, Chris and I, and everybody, we were talking about maybe going out to Kansas, and we were showing, there's some Kansas Overland Adventure Trail or something like that out there. It's 2 or 3 days that, takes 2 to 3 days to do. And we just talked about doing that. So, that's how I kind of got started. But I just love being out here. It's all the stress of the real world just is non-existent out here. So that's what I love about it.
Other than doing this, I'm gonna try to stay off of the phones and
Yeah, that's the best part. There's no phone service out here most of the time, and we like that, so we're not making a lot of phone calls.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I've got my phone out a lot for my phone and cameras. Whoa, that was weird. The battery went dead. I guess that's a good place to end this. Hold on.
The battery is what? Your phone?
No, in my.
Oh, there's a deal that holds it for you?
Yeah, it's a gimbal.
Well, no, but I mean, what's the battery?
There's a gimbal. The battery operates the gimbal to make sure it stays level. So now we're a little bit crooked because the battery went dead in my gimbal. And so that's why we were rocking around. So I fixed it. We're going to end this right now. Jason's lap, because I haven't charged it in like 6 months because I don't hardly ever use it. So that's funny.
That's some good stuff.
This is definitely going to make it. Anyway, Jason Laudwig, Wasu, and we're going to do a walk around of his rig, and we'll add that in there. This is a really cool. This thing's probably the most impressive thing. I've had this place is
non-Jeep.
Non-Jeep. No, not non-Jeep. Because a lot of these Toyotas and stuff, they go good. I mean, I think that Chris and Amy's, like these trucks over here behind us, they go anywhere mine would go.
Well, yeah. But mine does too.
No, absolutely yours does. And yours isn't built as much as a lot of these around here. But that thing has been awesome. So, and I'll show you a little bit of that. We'll do a little walk around.
On the way.
On the way. Still to come. Thanks, you guys, and we will see you next time.